Blessings to everybody watching this show. Today is the first ever episode of Elevate the Mic. I'm your host, Max Mupese, and I gotta tell you, we have a special guest by the name of Loren. But even before talking about the special guest that we have, Loren, I want to talk about my experience of watching this guy perform on stage for the first time, and I remember how vibrant and how much energy he had as a performer. So without further ado, I need everybody to clap your hands wherever you are and salute Loren. How you doing?
Respect, Max. I'm good, baby. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
Thanks for having me out here, man. Appreciate you.
That's amazing. Great, great. So I want to start out by asking you, what motivated you to start and rap, like as a rapper?
Outlet. It wasn't rap first. It was poetry first. I grew up listening to, coming from Jamaica, you hear the vibes, the rhythms, right? But when you come to Canada, the family didn't work out so well. So I was like put in the system. And in the system, there was different kids around me. And they're listening to heavy metal, like Nine Inch Nails, Korn, Tool, like shock rock. And I could vibe with that energy because that was the energy in me. I couldn't get it out, you know? But I heard what they were saying, and that was poetic to me. So then I started expressing my words in poetry. So in my teenage years, I entered like poetry competition, which then turned into hip hop competition. Then I had the city telling me you should grab the mic and hop on stage because people are really connecting with you. And that's really kind of how it all started, you know?
That's amazing, 'cause at the end of the day, it's almost like a domino effect, right? You started from somewhere and then eventually led to something different.
Yeah.
Or even something greater.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
And as far as Montreal, because if I'm not mistaken, did you grow up in Montreal, or how was?
I grew up in the Tri-City, I call it. So Toronto, O-Town, Ottawa, and MTL.
Okay.
So when I first came to Canada, Montreal was my landing spot. And then touched down in Toronto for a minute. And then things cooled down, I came to Ottawa.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as far as the differences, were you able to see certain differences where you were able to adapt as a creative?
Toronto, I was very much so in my youth, but I was mixed up with idle time. You know what they say, right? So the devil's hands are idle time or something like that, right? So, and then as I got a bit older, that's when I shifted over to Montreal. And then same thing, but with the family, not in the system yet. And when I got to Ottawa, that's when the system kicked in. And that's when I had this energy in me I had to get out. And that's when I started to shape my artistry, right? Because I was looking around me to see how people did things, you know, learning from them. And also looking at the industry at the time too, and see how they move. Just trying to find my way on stage, how to you know, invest in myself, how to market myself, how to brand myself. Really learn the basics. So Ottawa taught me how to move in the industry space, and got me further down the line, you know. So
that's great.
Yeah.
And it's important that you said invest in yourself, learning certain things that a lot of artists, certain artists neglect for the most part. And it's interesting enough because we had a conversation earlier, and you said some that really made me think. You're like, okay, we're in an industry that's pretty much ladders and snakes.
Yeah.
And certain things you got to do to maneuver and figure out ways to move different. So how was it for you to navigate in that type of industry, knowing that you had to deal with that?
You never see the snakes and the ladders come out of nowhere. So opportunity comes when you work hard. You end up gravitating that energy, right? That positivity. And then along the way, you'll meet jealousy and envy, right? And those are the snakes. And you get caught up in that because disappointment, hurt, frustration, whatever. And that's when you slide back down. But sometimes you slide back down just to jump 10 feet higher, you know what I mean? So,
if we were in church, it would have said amen right there.
Bless. So that's how it goes. You got to take your bumps and your bruises, you know. People who you think are rocking with you, they're only there for a certain moment in time until their true colors are revealed. People who you never thought were supporting you come out of nowhere and be like, yo, I've been really rah, rah, rah. And it's always the strangers you build with than the family you come with.
Right.
I promise you.
Hey.
I promise you, it's always how it goes. So that's how it goes in any game, really, man. In business, period. It's just you gotta learn, and when you learn, then you know who's who, and what to put down on paper.
Hey, preaching. That's good. And could you share a little bit about the name, the meaning behind your name, and the significance?
First hip hop name was Script. Acronym. Silent cries relived in painful tears. That's when I was coming through my whole foster care situation, my whole Right. And then as I matured, not a rebrand, but just a growth.
Right.
I decided to use my government name, Loren. It's bold, it's different, can't lie. Favorite artist, Loren Hill, you know what I mean? I kind of resonated with that, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna keep this one, and it just made sense because nobody has that name,
It's interesting what you're saying because I saw a clip of, if I'm not mistaken, it had to be J. Cole's manager. It had to be somebody from J. Cole's team, but he was saying he was part of his process, and what he was talking about was how they were preparing themselves for a Grammy and the wardrobe and how he had to prepare himself, mentally for whatnot. So what J. Cole refused to do was to wear a flashy outfit because he knew that other rappers would wear it. And it ended up being a situation where J. Cole was right, and then he showed up and two other rappers were wearing his outfit. It was French Montana, if I'm not mistaken, and somebody else. And that day, the person from J. Cole's camp realized, no, listen, that person's living his truth. He's living his truth, you know what I mean? And that's something that's interesting. You're saying you have your name and you want to live by that. And people got to respect that and also realize that that's what it is,
Yeah.
That's powerful. Okay, as far as the Montreal music scene dynamic at the moment, how do you see yourself contributing to the city's landscape or even pushing its boundaries?
Everyone I met in this city, I'd say about 70% of the people I met in this city music-wise, amazing. But that's the business side. So that's the engineers, that's the marketing team, that's the photographers, the videographers. They got their mind right.
Right.
Some artists out here, I don't know if they think because they can afford the Benz,
Right.
or it's no longer cubic zirconias in their ear, that they're on a level.
Right.
And I just watch. Because you can stay stuck there if you think you're there, and still be stuck in MTL. But that's any city, anywhere in the world. If your mind state's like, oh, I made it, okay, well, what have you done? That's how I see it. I really have a hard time connecting with artists in any city because I watch, and if I believe that your energy isn't right, isn't positive, isn't a positive charge, I won't F with you. And that's no disrespect. It's just that it's time. It's time that I can't get back. I can't go to the shop and buy more time. I see you and you go left, I go right, we Gucci. No problem. That's why most of everything I've done, except for Rebna, who's in Ivory Coast. He's a different type of artist. We had a track that went crazy in Portugal called Election of a Supernova. Y'all can check that out on Spotify. Election of a Supernova, Rebna, R-E-M-N-A, and your boy Loren, fire track. Outside of that, it's just me, and I work with female vocalists or male vocalists, right? Because most of the time, I'm writing the chorus, I'm writing the bridges, I'm writing the verses, I'm in the studio, I'm giving them the energy, I'm telling them the sound, and, we're building that way, To try and jump on a track as a feature with someone else, it's, that depends on the brand. What are you trying to carry? What's the rest of your catalog, Stuff like that. So I really just trying to build my own sound and grind and do everything solo, but work with the professionals like yourself, like Travis, John, it's those are the people I like to connect with, Can't forget Pajot. I know you're gonna see this, Pajot. I know you watching, baby. So yeah.
That's good because you focus a lot more on the tangible, anything that has substance instead of just superficial.
Absolutely.
Glamorous, and everything's about clout nowadays. As if we look at, for the most part. Yeah, I would say yes. Everything that we see on social media for
That
the most
we
part.
see,
Right.
but is it?
I would say that's debatable. That's a great question because,
Because you can buy clout now. So
right.
is that real clout? So you line the system will, you'll put yourself in the position to lie to the world. But one day, like what's happening right now, new artists can't sell out a concert.
Yes.
Old artists are selling
Man.
out concerts. So what does that tell you?
I like that you're going there because I saw something from Offset. He did an interview, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was with Ebro. And he said something very interesting. He said that rappers nowadays are no longer booked for a festival as they used to be. For the most part, you look at the bill, there's going to be 3 or 4 artists, 3 or 4 rappers. And the reason why is because you don't only want to see an artist, a rapper that's on stage with a mic and just being there for 30, 45 minutes. There's no real experience. So what's your take on that? What do you think about? Because I saw you perform.
So that depends on the artist.
Right.
You got to be able to connect with the crowd. And if you can't connect with the crowd, then you shouldn't be on stage. Go work on your stage performance, go work on your delivery, go work on your overall, look of, I don't mean this, but I mean your whole set. Put me on stage with a microphone and a beat and some lights, I will connect with that crowd. I do it every time. That's old school, but that's that energy. You want to give me a band, guitar, drums, keyboard, all that? Oh, it's going to be fire. I've done that too. You have to be the energy, right? DMX could be on stage, rest in peace, kill a crowd, nothing, right? No band, that's DMX, right? Hova could be on stage, no band, that's Hove. Lauryn Hill could be on stage, Eminem could be on stage, you know what I mean? Mariah Carey could be on stage, right? Justin Bieber could be on stage. That's them, that's their authenticity, right? That's their delivery, right? So when I say poetry over bars, because that's real. Punchlines is one thing all day, but that poetry, that make you think, that make you feel something, that make you reflect, that lasts with you forever. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, yes, give me the band, give me the 10-piece, everything, that's beautiful. But with a mic and a beat, I'll still rock a crowd, I promise you.
Key word I got from it, you said you have to be the energy, being the energy. And would you say that was one of the best ways for you to connect with the people when you were performing?
Well, here's how I learned about energy.
Got it.
Ottawa, poetry contest. I won it 3 times back to back, not knowing. My friend said, you should come just share your poetry. There's a room of 80 people. They do this every Wednesday. Shout out to John Ekpada, Rita Carter. Y'all brought me to my first little event to make me touch the mic. Appreciate y'all. And I went and I shared stories of like the system and like my upbringing and my life. And I had grown folks crying. The bartender stopped serving. And the way they see who won was through one of those voice meters or like, I don't know, sound meters that like you can check the range, right, of how loud the room gets. And that was off the meter every time. Right? So I went back to back to back, and then someone was like, why don't you just grab the mic, because they're going to come see you. Everyone in here, they think you have music out. Like, nah, this is just poetry. So that's when I realized that there's something in me that connects with people, because I'm real. And people are real, and they want to hear real right?
Real.
So that's the energy. That real is energy. People can feel fake from a distance. Energy is a language. Vibe is a language. You know what I mean? It's
powerful. I mean, I'm pretty sure, from what I understand, is that your spirituality is also something that grounded you for the most part.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. One of the things I keep saying to myself for the last like 6 months is give God the blessing. I'm just a vessel. Anything that I can do is because of the powers that be. Take that away, who am I?
Hey, you're talking. Now, because I'm understanding bits and parts of your story. You talked about how you went through foster care, like you had a foster situation, and finding your way. We're all finding our ways, obviously, on this, in this journey.
Yeah.
It makes me understand that, like, every part of your journey was helping you not only to speak your truest your true story, but connect poetry to other people's story as well.
Yeah.
So what are some challenges you had to face when it comes down to certain things you went through in your journey?
You know what's crazy? Some songs that I never wanted to put out were my best songs.
Okay.
Because they were so vulnerable and I was so scared that I'd be judged, that people would look at me different, not realizing that they're, I don't know if you know Wallow.
Yes.
From
267
Philly. From what is it, 100 million worth of games, something like that.
$1 million worth of games. Yes.
Wallow keeps saying it's like there's 7 billion people on the planet. I just need 0.5% to look at me or something. You know what I mean? He'll say something crazy like that.
When you think about it.
And that never entered my mind because as much as I knew the energy was in me, I still wanted to be perfect for my audience or for the audience, Pardon me.
It's all good.
1 second here. My apologies. And then I realized that perfection lies within imperfection. But these are things that come as you mold yourself. You know what I mean? You learn these things. You understand this about your persona. That not even it's who you are.
Right.
And that's what was hard for me with certain tracks. I'm like, do I share? Do I put this out? Do I? And my peoples were like, Loren, it's you. That's what you're here for. And then when I put it out, you get emails back. You get messages. People that don't know you, church folk messaging you. People in different position that can make you an ambassador for certain things. You know what I mean? That for the youth and stuff like that, reach out to you and you realize that your words are more than just words.
Right.
They're key.
Man, come on. Because when you think about it, there's a lot of artists that not necessarily have guidance or even have coaches that were able to put them on or even give them an opportunity. So what was it like for you when you were coming up as an artist?
I'm not going to lie. Shout out to my boy Stunning Ours. Stunner, if you're watching this, you're probably going to see this. He really kept my mind focused. I was out running around, scrambling. And he really kept me in the studio, kept me motivated, kept me driven. And that's what really made me understand that I can go somewhere. But it takes key people like that to keep you on that path, Other than that, is everything costs money in this game. Everything costs money. From the gear, I'm not even trying to put on right now. It's just a little bomber and some jeans. It's nothing, you know what I mean? But your branding, you're trying to set yourself apart. I could have stepped out here in a white beater and look like your typical rapper, and I'm but I'm not. You stand for something else, and there's nothing against that. That's the culture. I'll touch the stage like that, but I'm representing something else right now. So from your self-investment, the beats, the mixing, the engineering, the videos, the tour, the connects, everything, and funding yourself is probably one of the biggest things that can hold an artist back. And in Canada, which I've never touched before, they give you grants.
Right.
20, 30, 50, 60K. There are artists in this country that are solely living their day-to-day life off of grants for half a decade or 15, And I'm not hating on you.
Right.
Use it. But there's something about my pride that said, you don't want nobody else's stamp on this. You want to say you did it with everything that's right here. You did it. I'm not saying the grants are a handout. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I didn't want a handout.
What's that saying? If you give them the ability to feed you, you give them the ability to starve you.
And I was even thinking like that. I was just thinking, no, this is me. This is mine. And if I can't put it out now because I'm 500 or I'm 1,500 short, then it's not coming out now. And I've been paying so much attention to the universe right now because it's with everything that's good that's coming, you can't get mad at the bad that's in front of your face.
That's it.
It's the yin and the yang. But take the bad as the lesson so you can move, right? So if I ain't got it now, there's a reason why I ain't got it now. So when I do have it, I could probably do more with it then. So those are certain challenges, other than snakes and ladders,
Yeah, right. as far as snakes and ladders and the lessons, I'm thinking about, well, if we circle back to what we were saying about social media and clout, because there's certain things that are good for your brand as an artist or creative.
Yeah.
That's gonna help you go viral. So for the most part, how do you view that, like the whole era of what we're living at the moment, and people using social media to really make their name and going on TikTok, because they could be detrimental as well.
That's two parts, man. Obviously, you get inside the machine,
Right.
gonna pump you out everywhere, every platform, boom. But you getting 10 cents on a 360 deal. You probably got 2-3 labels touching your music. You're getting paid last, right? That's okay, but that 10% is probably more than whatever I'm making, right? But then you have less say, less control, right? The other side of it is when you market yourself and you build up your 10,000, 15, 20,000 followers, then they come to you.
Right.
Now you have some type of, like, as they say, negotiating power at the table.
Yeah, leverage.
Right? So to speak. It works both ways. It just depends what the artist wants to do, okay? Because you have great artists who need the machine because they don't know how to market themselves. Right. They don't know how to build. They're not built for that. So they enter the machine loves them because they have their target demographic. You look and sound like Madonna. Right. Perfect. We're gonna market and ship you out like we did Madonna, okay? Perfect. You look like Jimmy, Kravitz. No, not Jimmy Kravitz.
Lenny
Kravitz, right? We're gonna market, boom, 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 right? It's already set up. Each channel, there's nothing new under the sun when it comes to the system. That's why when you got artists out here like Mos Def, back in the day, Talib Kweli, Energy, you know what I mean? That's why I love Loren Hill, because like she is nothing like the system, but it's everything the system needs, right? Fugees was a beautiful, beautiful piece of me growing up anyway. And Loren Hill is someone that is in my top 5 for rappers, of artists. Like, she's just, so when I watched the game, but you see how the game treated her when she didn't want to play, right?
Exactly.
Right? She didn't want to play no more. They're like, oh, well, boom. But Loren Hill is still loved around the world. Like, you can't not say Loren Hill, not to be a household name,
It's interesting because it seems like if it's harder to duplicate a Loren Hill than it is to duplicate a Nicki Minaj, or even the quote-unquote...
You trying to get me in trouble right now? You
Hey,
trying to do, boy?
I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of people are talking about industry plans and how there's a certain way to push. Obviously, it's sex sales, and to push certain things in to a certain angle.
So to recreate a Nicki brand that's modern,
That's it.
is not easy.
That's it.
Because Nicki is still talented. It's her talent that made people listen to her. Because there's tits and ass everywhere. But who can rap like Nicki?
Right.
Who can hold a stage down like Nicki? Right? That's what makes her sexy. Everything else is just the cream on the cake, But Nicki really hold that mic though. Different.
Right.
Can't put that on stage. You're gonna end up with, I'm not gonna say no names, but you're gonna end up with something soft and weak, you know what I mean? Pause. Like, it's not gonna be right. So yes, it can be, but it's hard. Because you see when they catch these fly-by-night artists, when they catch them, they get like literally maybe 2 months out, but no one's checking for you because you ain't got that energy.
Right.
So we talking about Nicki. Nicki got that energy. Queen's artist. It ain't easy out there, So, yeah.
That's good. Yeah, Nicki could have been, still use her as an example. It could have been a different example. However, yeah, I understand the point of view you mean.
You always need talent.
Yeah.
Because you will burn out. You always need skill. Because you will burn out like a bulb. Like, done, finished. Like, it's in you or it's not, I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, that's what makes you stand out.
That is exactly it. The only thing is how much are you willing to have them take from you to let you through that door.
That's powerful. Okay, as far as live performances, and because we know that live performances are very significant for many artists' career, right?
Yeah.
And how do you approach the quote-unquote energy or even the connection with the audience for the most part?
Well, the music that you're going to write, is going to be real. So therefore, that will take care of itself. Now the delivery on that, whether it be in the studio before it's mixed down and everything and before it hits the stage, I always tell people I work with, if you can't do it on the stage, so if you can't do it in the studio, you won't be able to do it on the stage. So whenever I write music, I write like I'm performing on stage, because that's the energy I need to bring. So I'm like in my living room, I hit play and it's pop, 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 pop. I'm going loud, because that's the delivery in the booth, right? You got to feel that. When they're listening to that, they're like, whoa. And when they see you live, they're like, whoa.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's got to equal. They say there's some artists that are studio artists.
Right.
Anyone ever call me a studio artist, I'll cry, bro. I swear to God. Because you got to put it all, man. You know? If you can't breathe, then find a way to breathe, you know, when you're spitting your shit, you know? Find a way to breathe on letters. There's little tricks and stuff you can do, you know? Like for you to carry out the verse, for you to spit your bars, for the flow, the delivery. And when you hit that stage, it's got to be the same thing. So that's how I approach it. Whenever I write my words, it's like I'm on stage. So when I hit the studio, it's like you just heard me on stage. When you see me, it's like you just heard the CD. You know, everything is consistent. Yeah.
And could you share a memorable fan interaction or experience you've had that has left a lasting impact on you?
You know, there's so many kids that grow up silent into silent adults, tormented adults, tortured adults, broken adults. And their inner child still cries, but put to sleep because they got to grow up, right? Then you hear somebody say something to you that touches that inner spirit, that inner child of yours, and it reminds you, it's okay to feel, it's okay to be human. And so I've had churches write to me, you know, and say, they invite me to the church to speak, you know. I've had different high schools write to me. Would you come and speak at our school and share your story? My most favorite one, I swear to God, I hate to say it, I get goosebumps like I'm somebody, you know, I ain't shit, you know, but he's my biggest fan. This kid comes to, well, me and his dad went to school, right? And he's always asking for my new music. He's always this, that, and the third. But my music seems to be the only thing that calms him down.
Okay.
He's maybe 9.
Yeah, that's serious.
His name is Logan. Logan, if you're watching, and it makes me think because, like, I got all different types of music that still represent me because I have a story. But then you think about that there's a child that's listening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And sometimes that puts a pause on my pen, like, and that's when it gets tricky sometimes, you know? But I have to realize that he will grow up too. You know what I mean? And so will the rest, you know?
Right.
So there's so many special moments in my life when it comes to my music, man. There's just so many. Remember my second one called Where Do We Go? Rita Carter, back in the day. That's the one where I really integrated the whole system and foster care situation. And you just don't realize how many people have been through that until you put out the art, put out the project, you know? And then they come in and you make them feel comfortable because they realize that, hey, this person who's on a platform decided to share with the thousands of people what he experienced. And here I am feeling like cornered, alone, and like nobody understands. No, I'm like everyone else. I'm okay, you know, I'm good, you know? So I got different parts of my music that tell different parts of my life, you know? From when I was still a child to when I was outside getting wild to the business and the ups and downs. And, you know, I like to have fun. We've all popped bottles. We've all sat beside models. We've all been in nice cars. We've all done things. We've all entertainment. We love, it's everything. It's entertainment, you know? So, yeah, man.
I always looked at musicians as the voice speaking for the voiceless. And that's, hey.
Yep.
for the most part, everything that could happen, whether it's, you know, political,
Yeah.
anything that's serious in the world happening, people will gear towards a musician and be like, hey, how come that person's not speaking on certain things? And
Yeah.
so, I mean, at the end of the day, there's so much you could handle, right?
There's so much, you know. At the same time, though, like that's where it gets a bit crazy, right? Are you a conscious artist? Are you a thug artist? Are you a this artist? I'm an artist that's been through different experience moments in my life that I choose to express with you.
Right.
So if I'm gonna turn up for 3 tracks on my album, I'm gonna turn up for 3 tracks on my album because people still want to feel good. People still want to have fun. People sometimes want to forget too, you know. So you gotta find that balance. And if you want to eat, really though, that's what you gotta, you know, like it's not selling yourself short, but like people want to get. Women are the ones that are gonna buy your music, right? First and foremost, okay? When they start talking, then the men are like, "Ooh, what's popping over here?
Thirsty ones are
why
following.
Why is this? Why is he hot, right?" So like, you know, you gotta get the girls 2-stepping a little bit. You know what I mean? Get them, you know, like J. Cole did it, right? You know, like Pac did it. You know what I mean? To live and die in LA, right? Like.
And Drake is doing it.
Drizzy been doing it though,
Yeah,
you know, and shout outs, man. Drizzy
He caught a lot of flack for the album because of
who
the name,
who
you know?
gave him flack? Think about who gave
Right.
him flack. Who gave him flack? Our
Right.
big brother down south? Because Drizzy had to connect to blossom and someone saw something in him,
Right.
right? One of the greatest of all time, Wheezy. It doesn't matter what anybody else is saying after that, bro. You know, Drizzy really did it. Can't forget, you know, Shot Claire, Cardinal Official.
T-Dot.
You know what I mean? They were there setting the foundation. Drizzy was listening, was like, boom, you know? And he just happened to be in the space at the right time. And shout outs to what he's done for the culture. And the conversation. I give up what a hater gotta say, bro.
Seriously.
Because you want to be where he is. And if you were where he is, then you would be saying the same thing. So please.
Hey. And as far as impact, what impact would you want to leave behind in the city, or even, if anything, you'd have to tell to an upcoming artist?
Be you. Just you'll never run out of you. Be you. Your entire substance, identity, your entire aura, your being. Be you. Put that on paper. Show that on stage. You know, you don't have to be live and energetic if that's not you. I've seen a woman stand still
Right.
and not move. Just have her lungs and her diaphragm and her octaves do everything.
Loren Dale?
No. Independent artist.
Okay.
Her name is Tara Vachon,
Shout out to her.
Ottawa. Crazy. I'm telling you. You can put her on stage with Sarah McLachlan and Tara Vachon as the opener. You know what Sarah McLachlan is?
First time hearing her. No. Yeah. You putting me on game. I love it.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to match the female artist level energy. And Sarah McLachlan and Tara Vachon, like, she could literally open up for McLachlan. And I really believe that McLachlan, because McLachlan is so well known and has crazy hits, is why people are like, yeah, McLachlan, kill that. But Tara would be like, they're like, who the fuck is Tara?
Right. To look back like,
Why is this? And that's the thing with Ottawa. It's got so many hidden gems. With a lot of cities, so many hidden gems that just don't know how to do the marketing, do the business, or they just want to sing. They just want to perform. You know? And that's when the snakes and ladders happen.
The
Right?
machine comes in. Hey, let me.
Not even. Somebody sees an opportunity. You know? I can take you places. I can do this for you.
Selling you a dream.
Exactly.
Hey, all right. And a few more questions I'd like to ask you. When it comes down to, or even, how has your perspective on success in the music industry evolved over the course of your career? Because that's different, and, you know, it could change at any point.
You know, I've been doing this for a little bit, and I've had opportunity to be a part of this machine, and I've said no a few times, just because I know what it entails. And perhaps I wasn't ready. But success for me is the moment you decided to invest in yourself. Success for me is the moment you created a project, a finished product, and you're like, yes. Hell, success is the day you decide to take that step forward into whatever endeavor. That is success, because that you needed to cross that line. That first step is successful, right? The project might not be done for 5 years, who cares? But you're succeeding at every point of that creation.
Okay.
You know?
You dropped a lot of gems. You said you could never run out of you. When you said that, I was thinking about a car, somebody running out of gas. You can't run out of yourself.
No.
Success is when you start investing in yourself. And what message would you like to leave behind? Any creative other than we said running out of you, being yourself. Somebody who's still hesitating, telling themselves, am I really doing this for a living, or am I doing this because I want the clout?
Then you don't know who you are. That's all it is. You still got a little bit of maturing to do. You're still figuring yourself out. Because when it comes to that pen to that pad, if you don't know who you are, then what you writing about?
Right.
And the crowd gonna hear that. Listeners gonna hear that. The critics gonna hear that. So if you're still questioning yourself, that's great. You're figuring yourself out. You're unraveling. It's amazing. And that could be a song too. Because that's still you. That's still growth. A lot of artists are just like, they go through spells and they write that out. How many shady records happen, like 2-3 shady records happen where he's like, I don't know where I am, but like I'm here and I'm trying to figure it out. These pills, these demons, these sounds, am I still, oh my God. But that music is his therapy. So therefore he did it. He was successful. And the critics who are talking, this man is one of the greatest MCs to ever hold a mic.
Period.
You know what I mean? And yet he still is finding ways to bend words and different rhyme schemes and to still impress us, right? That's why I say, forget these talkers, man. There's so much more out here to be enlightened by that people miss the goal, miss the target. We're so busy talking about other people and not reflecting or appreciating on what they're doing and giving them their flowers.
It makes me think of something Ice-T once said. He's like, if you constantly think or even constantly worry about what other people think or what they say, it's like you walking down the street and you want to think of what every single person you see coming across is thinking. Like, you will go bananas, you'll go crazy.
We all do it though, right? It's growth, man.
Yeah.
The adolescents as well, like they still try to figure themselves out, especially in this day and age. Oh my goodness, with social media and the gram and TikTok and this, that, and perfect and what that looks like through a lens of whoever created that lens. It's all fake, a facade, it's not real. But that's what they gotta go through. You gotta go in to come out, right? So you gotta go find yourself so you can be yourself.
Hey. 2 more questions. Dream collaborations.
Jeez.
Montreal, wherever, North America.
Dream collaborations?
Yes.
Please call Loren Hill. Please call Method Man.
Okay.
I would love, just because Rakim, it's Rakim, bro. Just whenever I see that man, I'm just like, yo, what would it take to do a record with you, Shady, just because he has a story that like a lot of black kids couldn't resonate with,
right,
or chose not to identify with. I don't know, but me as a black man, as a black child, the craziness he went through, I could heavily relate to that.
right,
Coming up. I'd love to just go deep on that. Pause.
You got to enter that pause.
Yeah,
for sure.
Sheesh, man.
Yeah,
DMX, rest in
go
peace,
deep.
man. Like, wish. A bunch of other names I'm thinking about right now. I can't cross my mind, but that's it. That's pretty much it. Really top collabs. There's some names that are going through my brain right now, but I ain't gonna say them, bro. It is what it is, But those are my.
Yeah, that could be for another episode or another, another interview. So, what are your dreams and aspirations at this moment for your music career, or even overall?
Right now, man, I'm really just trying to, so my mom's rest in peace, just passed, right? And so I took some time off the music just to realign myself and come back better, and make make her proud in a way and still be inspiring and still do it my way. Not to say like I can adapt and bend and work, but still do it in a way where I know that I'm not conforming
To society.
to the BS,
Right.
you know? Because I make great music. Whether you like it or not, I still make great music, you know? That's what I want to leave a sound behind where, you know, if this world ends, they're playing it on Mars. You know what I mean? I really want to make that long lasting, forever music.
Elon Musk shouting you out.
You know, whatever it is, you know, I really want to leave an impact on the culture that way. Yeah, stand out like those that inspired me stood out. You know, that's really what I want to do.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Hey man, Loren, it was a pleasure having you, even chopping up with you,
Max,
learning
man,
about
thanks for having me, brother.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it, man.
Hey, for everybody who's watching this episode for the first time, like we said, we're watching Elevate the Mic, and the importance of elevating the mic is basically to have artists, not only artists, but creatives or even entrepreneurs in the hip-hop culture of Montreal to elevate their minds and elevate their skill sets. Thank you for watching.
Old Town Montreal, T. Dot, stand up. Easy.